Hey guys, it's Ryan from The Life Detox. Today I'm going to be talking all about myself. I'm going to tell you about how I ended up gaining weight, losing weight, the ups and downs, the roller coaster that is weight loss. So tune in, let's go.
You put your heart on a letter to chase it away. Got sun, and it's all because of you. Hey, what's gonna give?
I was born 16th of April 1995. I wasn't a very chubby kid. I started putting on weight probably 7-8 years old. I don't really remember much of that time, but I do remember my brother had a gap in his teeth. One of the furthest memories I remember going back when I realised I had an eating problem was I used to leave gaps in the chocolate, so my mum used to blame my brother for me eating it. Just stuff like that makes me realise I must have had a problem from an early age. Yeah, as I got older, primary school I used to get picked on because of my weight. I moved schools and that was pretty good, and moved on to high school. I was never really a popular kid. I wouldn't say I was unpopular, I had a lot of friends, but I just wasn't in the clique. You know, I didn't used to get bullied or picked on or anything at high school for my weight, but I just used to binge eat. I used to eat as much as possible. Like, I'm definitely an emotional eater. Through everything growing up, I just used to eat and it just made me feel better. All through high school, throughout the end of high school, I just eat and I look back now, I'll put some photos up here, but when I was in high school I was a big guy. Looking back now it's quite scary. So yeah, I left school 16. I did really well in my studies and moved on to do a mechanics apprenticeship. Yeah, midway through that I stopped and decided to take some time out, but the weight was still piling on. I found every year I gained in age, I gained a stone in weight. By the time I was 17, I was 17 stone and it just kept going on. So when I was 18, I took a year out and did X Factor, and it was a pretty good experience. It made me realise that the media is definitely more for people who are slimmer, and they'll definitely look after people more if they're exactly what they're suited to be. I wasn't too fussed, I had a great time. I left there and carried on my studies in mechanic, but the weight just kept piling on and piling on. From leaving the X Factor, I had a friend who I used to train with. He had a gym in Hull and we used to train together. He did me a diet plan. It was mainly chicken and rice all the way through, but I was on that for probably 3 or 4 months and I lost a good chunk of weight very quickly. It wasn't sustainable for me. As soon as I got comfortable, the weight just piled straight back on, and even worse than it was before. So yeah, I ended up spending maybe 3 years. I tried some on and off diets. I was doing like Weight Watchers and I tried Herbalife. And I lost a little bit of weight on each one, but they're just not consistent. And I realised that anything that happened emotionally, I went through a lot of stuff in the beginning of my adult years, and everything that I went through, it made me feel better to eat. So I would just eat to mask the emotion, and it helped me at the time, but it definitely didn't help my body, and it didn't help me in the long run. But it made me realise that I'm an emotional eater, and I will eat when I'm feeling a certain way, and that's definitely the cause of my problems. March 2018 came around, big life change for me. I jumped on a plane and moved over to New Zealand, and that's where I am now in Auckland, New Zealand. Comfort really didn't help. I was partying, I had a brand new group of friends, we was drinking, eating, just constantly filling our faces. I put on so much weight again. It escalated and escalated. And then 6 months into my trip to New Zealand, I ended up prolapsing a disc in my lower back. And this left me bedbound for around 3 months. My friends were looking after me, my partner was looking after me. It was a mess, and then I just go back to that thing again, like I said about emotional eating. All I would do is I felt so depressed. I was just eating and eating and eating, and it made me feel so much better. But when I could walk and I got back to my feet again, it was disastrous for me. I put on probably 2 stone in weight just from being bedbound, and getting back to work was hard. But I did all the physiotherapy, I got back to work, and the weight just kept piling on, and I never really noticed it. There's a big problem with big people in the ways that a lot of the time they don't see it, and I didn't see it. I used to look in the mirror and I didn't think I was slim. I used to look at these real big people and I'd compare myself to them, and it made me feel better, but I realised it was just I was just playing tricks with my own brain just to make myself feel better. It got to the point where, you know, I was getting in cars and the seat belts wouldn't close, or I was breaking chairs. I bought a new chair for the office and I broke the chair within 3 days of having it. And yeah, all these things, like I spoke to my mum on the phone, we video chat a lot, and she was worried about me. She was saying, you know, I need to lose some weight, and I said to her, you know, let me do it in my own time and I will do it. And all these people loved me around me, they all loved me, and they never would say anything to me. So it was just something I had to come up with myself. I had to realise it, I had to have that aha moment. So that aha moment came, and it came in January this year. After having all my back problems, I had a back problem again, and this time it was really bad again. So I went to the doctors, and the doctors told me that I'd sprained my lower back, and he basically weighed me, and we was chatting for a little while, and he said, you know, the way you're going, you're gonna get diabetes. I was just shy of 26 stone, which is 165 kilos, and yeah, I didn't feel good coming out of there. I just felt so down. I was like, what have I done to my body? I can't believe I let myself get into this situation where I could possibly develop this disease that I could die from. And it was all just because I cared more about feeling happy in a moment than I did anything else. So I left the doctors and I came straight home and pulled out one of them big black bin bags, and I just emptied the cupboards of everything. All of the crap that I had in the cupboards, all the chocolate, all the snacks, all the sugar, everything, it was gone. I was like, this has to stop, and it has to stop right now. I started researching. This was the 10th of January, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was the 10th of January. I basically looked online for these different diets, because in my brain, you think of weight loss, you think of diet. So in my brain, I was like, right, I need to find a diet that works. So I found keto. Now at first, keto was like, wow, this sounds awesome. I got in touch with a few people who was on keto. There's tons of groups on Facebook. I got signed up for these groups on Facebook just to meet some people, get some recipes, and I started keto. I started at the gym again, 3 days a week, just lifting weights, and then I did keto, and man, the weight was just dropping and dropping and dropping. I did keto the first 3 months. I probably lost around 15 kilos, maybe 20 kilos just from doing keto. It was really good. I was really strict on it. I had tunnel vision. There was nothing that was going to stop me. But after about 3 or 4 months, I got down to a weight that I was quite happy with, and I decided that I need to do something I've never done before. And this was to learn how to maintain my weight. Like I've always lost weight, and then I've always put it back on again. There's never been nowhere in the middle. And one of the biggest things that I learned from research is if you can learn how to maintain your weight, then it's going to be easier for you to be able to keep the weight off. I decided that I'm going to learn how to maintain my weight, how to stay exactly the same. So what I did was basically I found out what my daily energy expenditure was, my TDEE as they call it. Total daily energy expenditure, and that was my calorie amount. I didn't track calories very much, but all I did was I learned how many calories were in certain foods and got a rough idea. I definitely recommend doing that because calorie counting is brain-numbingly boring, and if you can just do it for a little bit, do it for a couple of weeks, and you'll kind of get an idea of how many calories stuff is, and then you won't have to count it anymore. And I did it the first time in my whole life for 2 months. I was 20 kilos down, and I maintained for 2 months from March to May. It was great. I was going to the gym, I was adding muscle on, upping my protein amount. It was really, really good. And after 2 months, I was like, right, I'm ready to lose some more. And I didn't go back to keto. And the reason why I didn't go back to keto was it was too restrictive. I didn't feel like it was a diet that I could live on forever, and for me, I was looking for a lifestyle change, and I just decided to create one myself. So what I did was basically I'd have protein sauce, and then I would have 2 big vegetable sauces and a small carb sauce, and I'd have 2 meals a day. I would fast, intermittent fasting for 16 hours and eat for the 8 hours during the day, and man, it worked. I lost another 15 kilos up to where I am now. And now we're in lockdown. At the moment it's pretty difficult, motivation is low. Started running, which is great, I'm really enjoying that. I've never ran before. I remember being 165 kgs, trying to run. I walked out the door for 30 seconds, I ran, I turned round, come back, sat down, and had a fry up because I was so depressed that I couldn't run. And I've been putting it off for so long, and now I've got the chance to do it. I'm really doing well so far. So yeah, I'm down total around 35 kgs now. I'm maintaining at the moment. I would like to lose some more weight, but whilst we're in lockdown, I'm trying to maintain so that when the gym's open again, I can up my protein amount and carry on building the muscle and losing the fat. But yeah, that's basically my journey. It's been up and down for a long time. It still is now. I still have days. I've still had days recently where I binged out and I felt really bad about myself. But what I've learned is that just because you have one bad day, it doesn't ruin hard work and dedication that you've done. Everybody falls off, but you've got to get back on. And the ability to be able to get back on after you've fallen off is the key. If you can pick yourself up and dust yourself off and get straight back on that road again, you can do it. You can smash it, and you will smash it. Don't even question yourself. I'm trying to do a 5K in 14 days from being a novice snow runner to being a 5K runner. And I haven't said that I'm trying. I'm saying I'm gonna do it because that's what I'm gonna do. Set yourself a goal and smash the goal. Don't even doubt yourself for 1 second, because if you doubt yourself for a second, you're not gonna do it. You've got to keep running and run through the wall and keep running even more. There's nothing special about me. My story is probably similar to tons of other people out there, and this is why I've done this channel. This is why I'm doing these videos, to help people who are exactly like me, these regular people who just need a bit of help and who can help me along the way. So yeah, that was my journey. Hope it gives you a bit more insight into why I'm doing this and what I've done so far. I'm not a nutritional expert. I'm not a gym instructor. I'm just a regular guy. I'm just trying to help other people. Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for catching my video, and we'll see you next time.